There's a certain type of leg pain that I get asked about all the time, and it can be a little bit indescribable for some people. And as a professional in this area, I try to help them to describe it with words like electrical feeling, or sometimes pins and needles or tingling. Sometimes it's shooting pain down the leg, or it can even be hot feelings or cold feelings in the leg. It can extend into your muscles and feel like they're cramping or a little bit spasmy. This is the wide variety of symptoms that a nerve can cause if it's being pressed on or impinged by something maybe in your spine. So in this lesson, I'm going to share with you 3 different relief techniques that you can use for this type of leg pain that can even change from time to time or day to day and become different, even though it's the same problem that's happening to cause it. And one of these relief techniques is going to be pretty weird, but it's actually the most effective one out of the 3. And I used it all the time to get out of what this leg pain is called is sciatica. And so I'm going to share these with you. But first, I do want you to understand a little bit more about what's causing these symptoms. So all of the feelings that you feel in your foot, in your toes, in your any part of your leg are actually coming from nerves that originate in your brain, and they go down your spinal cord and they exit out of your spine and they continue on down the leg. And that's the pathway of the nerve into your feet. And so when you have a compression on one of these nerves, that nerve can actually cause symptoms somewhere else in your body. That compression might be happening up higher on the nerve. It could be happening, say, in your lower back. And when that nerve is irritated, it may not be causing pain where it's getting pressed on. It may be causing pain actually at the tip of the nerve. So that's why people can get the feeling of numbness or tingling in their toes, but there's nothing actually wrong with their toes. And this is extremely common. It's actually something that I've dealt with personally in my own life for years. I suffered from chronic lower back pain for over a decade, and I've dealt with the muscle cramping, the hot feeling, the cold feeling, a lot of tingling and pins and needles in my feet. And so I do want you to know, especially before we get into this, if you also have back pain in addition to the leg pain that you're feeling, then it is a really, really strong indicator that the leg pain is probably coming from your back. But again, you don't even need to have any back pain at all. And the leg pain could still be coming from your back, especially if it's this indescribable electrical type of feeling. So if you're dealing with leg pain, here are the 3 relief techniques. They all can be effective, but in my personal case, and many of the patients that I've dealt with in the back pain realm, because that's my specialty, it's hit or miss. So the first one is called nerve flossing. And this is a technique where you actually move the nerve that goes from your spinal cord all the way into your toes. It's basically, think of like a string or a rope, and it's gliding that nerve through its groove. And the reason theoretically why this can be effective is because the nerve can get like trapped or stuck in certain places. And so by flossing it or gliding it through its groove, you can kind of release it and get it moving again. And that's what all the tissues in your body should be doing. They should be moving. They shouldn't be stuck in any one place. So a stuck nerve is not a happy nerve, and nerve flossing is a technique that could potentially release the nerve if it's stuck. And the reason that I think that this is often not so effective, and in some cases, I will say it can increase the irritation or the symptoms that people are feeling, is because if the nerve compression is happening in the spine, in the lower back, which is probably the most common place where it happens, and you start pulling on that nerve, it can cause more irritation. You don't want to, nerves do not like being stretched out. And so if it's getting compressed on by, say, your vertebrae or your discs, and then you're pulling on that nerve from your foot, it's potentially just going to irritate or aggravate it even more. So nerve flossing, I've done a whole separate video on it, which you can check out on my recommended technique for nerve flossing, but I wouldn't put all my eggs in this basket. And if it does help you, if it helps you reduce your leg pain symptoms, great, you can use it more. If it makes it worse, then I would absolutely listen to your body and not be using this technique, at least for a while. Like, you can try again sometime in the future, but right now, your body is telling you that this is not good for it. Always be listening to your body with any of these techniques. So the second technique that I recommend is actually one that was invented by a physical therapist from New Zealand named McKenzie. And so they call it the McKenzie technique. And he actually invented this by accident, but I'll spare you that story. And so really what it is, it's doing backward bends with your spine, like a spinal extension. So the closest thing to that in, say, a yoga pose would be the cobra pose. And so that's essentially what you would do. You could get down on the floor and push up into the cobra pose. I would say they recommend doing it 10 times in a row, just like 10 reps of cobra, back down, up, down. And then you get up off the floor, walk around a little bit, see how you feel. And same thing, listen to your body. If it feels better, great. You can use this as a tool. If it feels worse, absolutely take this as a sign that your body does not like backward bending or extension. This was the case for me. My body did not like backward bending. This technique made my condition worse. And so I completely avoided it. And that actually helped me to get better, was avoiding backward bending, at least for a period of time. So use these exercises and tools as kind of like diagnostic tools also to learn about your body. Oh, okay, my body didn't like that backward bending technique. Maybe other things I'm doing in my life that involve backward bending, for example, I don't know, the way that you look up at the sky or at a building, or for me, it was popping up on a surfboard. Those things are also irritating my back. Or maybe the way that you sit. This is a really common one. If you sit with like a back support, like a lumbar support that puts arch in your back, that's like a roll or a wedge that's pressing on your lumbar spine. That's the same thing as putting your spine in a backward bending position. That also could be contributing if you're sensitive to backward bending in your lower back. And then the other side of the coin is if it helps, then learn about that and say, oh, backward bending helps my spine. So I can incorporate this more. And maybe it's the opposite. Maybe forward bending down to tie my shoes, pick up something off the floor, is the thing that irritates me. Usually for every person with back pain, it's one or the other is more irritating. You can use that information to avoid one of them and kind of favor the other one, at least for a while, until you get better, until you get your core in a healthier state of fitness. Okay, so this third technique is my favorite one. It's a little bit weird, but for me, it was by far the most effective. The technique is laying on your stomach with a pillow underneath your abdomen, like your low abdomen. Basically, like think of like a throw pillow from like on a couch. Like you kind of want a pretty thick pillow that's square, or I have folded like a bed pillow, a normal bed pillow, folded in half to make it a little thicker, and then just place it right underneath your belly, the lowest part of your belly. So the bottom of the pillow would be under the top of your pelvis bone. So it's actually helping press on your pelvis up off the ground too, just the top of it only. And so when you lay on the pillow like this and it's pressing up on your belly, it's actually pressing through all of those tissues and pressing up on your lumbar spine too, which is opening some of they're called foramen, but they're just kind of the openings where the nerves come out of the lumbar spine. When you open those foramen, it creates more space so that the nerve is no longer getting pressed on. And so you can actually lay on the pillow like this for, I would say, at least 15 minutes. But in many cases, you could lay on it longer. You could even fall asleep like that, as long as you're not, interrupting any blood flow or anything. And, make sure it's, comfortable. It should feel decently comfortable. And I've basically taken naps like that and woken up feeling fantastic after having a bout of this sciatica leg pain, because it just helped to align my spine, take the pressure off the nerve. And it was great. It was a major tool that I used in my personal journey to climb out of the spiral of back pain. I used it as kind of a complement to many other things that I was doing to, get to more of the root of the problem, which is my core, supporting my spine so that my spine isn't collapsing and pressing on nerves, using my core muscles to just hold my spine up better. And so that's really what you want to go after as a long-term approach. But it is long-term in the sense that it takes a long time to do, and it's not going to give you as immediate of a relief as some of these techniques can offer you. So this is what I wanted to talk about today, because it's just such a common question that I receive. And feel free to check out that nerve flossing video if you want, if you think that might help you. And I'll be back next week with another topic for helping you to get out of the back pain spiral for good. And until then, make sure to get down on the floor and connect to your core. Take care.